I don't think any of us have, I think most of us have had that experience when we have been on an airplane or at a gathering and we've sort of casually started a conversation with somebody we don't know, and suddenly it's TMI. They are sharing just about everything that really probably is not really relevant or appropriate for that situation. They're Hello, and welcome to Therapy Notes 30. This is sponsored by the Psychological Cooperative of Malik and Associates, and I'm your host, Dr. Elaine Malik. This is where practical psychology meets everyday living. This is a site where we talk about concepts, issues, topics that we hear in therapy every day. It's not meant to diagnose or treat any condition, but is meant for information and educational purposes only. So come along and listen to what we talk about in therapy every day. I want to review some books from time to time, and one book that I have been referring to and recommending for many, many years, I think it came out in the early 2000s, 2005 maybe, or 2006, around there. Anyway, the author, Matthew Kelly, is an awesome writer. He has written many books, The Rhythm of Life, The Purpose-Driven Life, and the book that I recommend for people who want to understand healthy relationships, how to have healthy relationships, is his book called The 7 Levels of Intimacy. And if you have not read it, if you have not looked at this book, this is a book that will really help guide you in terms of understanding how to engage in healthy relationships. I don't think any of us have, I think most of us have had that experience when we have been on an airplane or at a gathering and we've sort of casually started a conversation with somebody we don't know, and suddenly it's TMI. They are sharing just about everything that really probably is not really relevant or appropriate for that situation. They're telling you things about themselves that really are making you uncomfortable. And the reason why that's making you uncomfortable, and Matthew Kelly really goes over some of this in the book, is that level of disclosure is not appropriate for the beginning of a relationship. And so he really lays out 7 levels of intimacy. He lays out the way a healthy relationship needs to unfold. And it starts at a level that is rather surfacey, but that's okay and that's appropriate. And it needs to start out with what he calls cliches or ways that we chat with somebody we don't know that's very casual, but it creates a sort of a foundation of approachability with no real emotional investment in the relationship, but a genuine sort of social kindness, social appropriateness through that engagement. And then he goes through the 7 levels. The first are, he calls them cliche, and the next level is facts. What did you do today? Oh, I went to work. I'm not giving you any information about that. I've just said, I got up, I got dressed, I went to work, I came home. That's just facts. That's what I did today. Being able to take it to the next level and say, I went to work today and it was awesome. We got a new boss, or, I got a raise or whatever, then allows you into another level of intimacy. But the level under facts is opinions. And again, a relationship can be stalled at a certain level as well. He goes through how there's really a lot of gradual disclosure going on when we deepen a relationship, whether it be a friendship, a relationship with a new partner, someone that we have a desire to be a friend with. You still have to go through these steps. And these steps have purpose. They create a foundation of trust, and they allow for a gradual unfolding of vulnerability. And vulnerability, love has a lot of vulnerability in it. And for a person to navigate, okay, how vulnerable can I be with this person? What does this relationship feel like? You have to take it step by step, as he describes. Because, again, the way Matthew talks about what is the purpose of a relationship. We don't want it to be transactional. We don't want to be in relationships where the only reason a person interacts with us is what they're getting out of it. But we want to think about relationships in terms of how it helps us be the best version of ourselves. And that really is a phrase that he coined. Trying to be the best version of yourself is a desire or a goal that he encourages people to seek and want to do, because it really does bring out the healthiest sense of self, as well as bringing that healthy person to a relationship. But the relationship really, and this is part of what I think he makes a good point in the book about, is a relationship is committed to the other person's quest to be the best version of themselves. And that's part of what he urges people to do as they go through the 7 levels of intimacy, is, does this relationship encourage me to be the best version of myself? And he talks about discipline, and he really talks about, a person who lacks self-discipline, if he has betrayed, or she has betrayed herself over and over again, if she's let herself down, if he's let himself down, how do you know they're not going to do the same thing to you? And you may motivate somebody to be the best version of themselves temporarily, but if they're not dedicated and committed to being that, then at some point the relationship is going to start to erode. And so taking your time, going through each step, each level of intimacy, and really getting to know the other person. And he talks about the 4 areas of intimacy: intellectual, physical, emotional, and spiritual. These are all levels of intimacy, or types of intimacy, that he thinks go into that kind of strong, robust, deep relationship, whether it be a strong friendship or whether it be something more than that, maybe a primary partner. The book covers friendships as well as intimacy in a partnership. I think it's well worth reading. Even though it's an older book, I think his points are timeless, and I think you can find a lot of good information in there, especially if you struggled with relationships, friendships that seem to not last, or friendships that feel like you're with someone who betrays the friendship. If you just come out of a partnership that hasn't worked and you're starting to date again and you're not sure, what do I look for? How do I know? What's the important parts of creating this relationship with this person? Avoiding TMI and looking for the red flags of TMI if you're dating somebody and the first time you meet them they start going through their life story. Red flag, probably should question whether that is the right relationship for you. But like I said, the book's chock full of good information. It really goes over a lot of healthy and unhealthy ways that we try to get our intimacy needs met, and ways that you can kind of navigate that. Thanks for coming along with us today. If you found this video helpful or informative, or you have a topic you would like us to discuss, please put it in the comments below. If you're in a situation where you need professional and caring help, please call Malik and Associates today. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Elaine Malik.